to continue along the lines that Dr. Walensky had mentioned, but now maybe take a look at it from a global standpoint. If I could have the first slide. Clearly, the Delta variant is dominant in the world. If you look at this map of the world, there are at about 100 countries that have the Delta variant that is detected in them since June in 2020. Next slide. If you look at the average daily prevalence of SARS-CoV-2 Delta variant worldwide, if you look at the right-hand part of the slide, you see the extraordinary surge in the dominance of this variant worldwide. And we, as was mentioned in several briefings that we've had, are seeing an increment in our own country to the point of now having more than 50% dominance, and in some areas of the country, greater than 70%. That is the sobering news. But take a look at what's going on worldwide with hospitalizations. Although Israel has the same issue with the dominance of the Delta strain, their hospitalizations have dramatically diminished. And if you look at the far right of the slide, as of just a couple of days ago, they are very low. In the next slide, we see the UK, similar, a dramatic diminution in hospitalizations. However, if you look at the trend on the far right-hand part of that slide, there's that uptick, which somehow is reflecting what Dr. Walensky just told you about the slight uptick that we're seeing in hospitalizations in our own country. Next slide. However, we know that the vaccines that are listed on the left-hand part of this slide that are being used in this country, namely the Pfizer, Moderna, and the J&J, both in lab studies and in clinical effectiveness studies, show the effectiveness of these vaccines against the Delta variant, particularly and importantly against hospitalization. Next slide shows data from the UK with the Delta variant, which the Pfizer-BioNTech, which clearly reflects what we'll be seeing with Moderna, is 96% effective against hospitalization. The bottom line is we are dealing with a formidable variant in the Delta variant, as reflected by the data that Dr. Walensky told you, and the extreme vulnerability of people who are not vaccinated, which will account for infections, hospitalizations, and ultimately deaths. And so the message, loud and clear, that we need to reiterate is that these vaccines continue to strong protection against SARS-CoV-2, including the Delta variant. And so why it's so important for yourself, your family, and your community to get vaccinated.